me before he left about us doing the sign.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's 6:30 by my watch, so we'll go ahead and get this started. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, January 25th. Do I have a motion to begin?
Here.
All right, got a motion? Second?
Second.
All right, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. All right, if we would, let's stand for the invocation and the pledge.
I ain't standing up.
All right. Can we get a little more? There we go. All right. Let's do the invocation first. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for bringing us together here. We pray your blessings on this time and give us wisdom in the decisions that we make and the things that we talk about. And we just thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you. Be seated. All right. Has everybody from the commission had a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting we had 4 months ago? All right. Any changes, additions, anything that needs to be looked at?
You need a minute, Barbara?
Barbara, you need a minute?
Please.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right. Anything that we need to change or add or delete? All right. I have a motion to accept.
I move that we approve the minute as written.
All right. Got a motion? Second?
Second.
Got 2 seconds? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, they're approved. All right, on to the new business at hand. Since it's basically for the same company and everything, we're going to go ahead and talk about them together, and then when it comes time for a vote, we'll vote separately. Our first one is case number R24001. Is it Coke? Okay. Coke Orthodontics filed an application requesting to rezone approximately .854 plus or minus acres located at 123 Bobby Boss Road in Loganville, 30052, map and parcel LG 060141, Walton County. The property owner is Strive Real Estate Loganville LLC. The current zoning is CBD, and the requested zoning is CH with the proposed development of an office for orthodontic practice. Our second case is R24-002, again, Coke Orthodontics. They filed an application for requesting to rezone approximately 2.68 plus or minus acres located at 115 Bobby Boss Road in Loganville, 30052. That map and parcel number is LG 050036. The current zoning here, it's the owner is Strive Real Estate again, Loganville LLC. The current zoning here is CBD, and the requested zoning is CH for the proposed development of an office for orthodontic practice. All right. With that, do we have anything from the applicant? If you would go to the podium there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jack Wilson. My office address is 295 Culver Street in Lawrenceville. I'm a lawyer. I represent the applicant and the property owner, Coke Orthodontics and Strive Real Estate. With us tonight, Dr. Jacob Coke here in the black shirt. Dr. Coke's been an orthodontist since 2011. He's got one office in Lawrenceville on Atlanta Highway, Highway 29. He's also got an office here in Loganville, in the Kroger Shopping Center, Loganville Crossing down at Highway 81. And what he would like to do is get this property rezoned so that he can build a new office here at this location at Highway 78 and Bobby Boss. Also with us tonight, Scott Zanardo is our architect, and Michael Bentley is our engineer. If you have any technical questions, they're here for reference and to answer any of those. But we have two applications. Actually, there are three separate tax parcels in this same location. One of them is already zoned CH, closest to Highway 78. And the applications before you tonight concern the other two parcels, which are adjacent. In putting the applications together and having conversations with staff, we landed on applying for CH since that zoning was already in place. It's our understanding from Robbie that CBD is really not an actively used zoning classification anymore. So what we want to do ultimately is combine these three parcels into one use. And the county tells us that in order to file a combination plat, they all have to have the same zoning classification. So that's really why we're here and why we applied for CH. We got one parcel that already had CH, so we're adding two to it. It was just seemed to be simpler and more efficient to file two applications as opposed to three. But what we propose, as I mentioned, is an office for the orthodontic practice. Dr. Coates practices a traditional orthodontic practice catered toward young people, braces, retainers, you know, that kind of thing that we typically think of that orthodontists do for our children and grandchildren. He's got about between 15 and 20 employees that would be here. This would be a single-story building, 7,200 square feet. All daytime hours, 8 to 5, no nights, no weekends. There'd be about 10 chairs. I know we've got some slides. I wonder if we could just kind of work our way through, and I understand you'll be able to see those on the screen. But we just had a couple of photos back in the summer. There's a significant stream that runs along the side boundary of the property, sort of parallel to Highway 78, and there is a very dense vegetative buffer there. I know we've had some conversations with our neighbor next door, Ms. Long, and she wants to make sure we don't disturb that buffer. We don't have any intention to do that, except as we make the sewer connection. And it's my understanding all that's covered by your development regulations. Those intrusions, if you will, are allowed only for very limited purposes. So, but I wanted you to see the screen buffer that's there and make sure you understand we don't plan to disturb that at all. This is one view of our building, and you can see it's fairly modern style. It's got a lot of glass. Dr. Cope, it likes the appeal of the natural light and that kind of thing. So it's interesting, this glass area on the left are actually the treatment rooms so that, you know, the patients and the doctors get the benefit of the natural light. This is a view. Highway 78 would be in the back on the other side of this building. Bobby Boss would be on our right-hand side, and the stream and Ms. Long's property would be to our back. So that's just a little orientation on that view. And if we can click to the next slide, this would be a view with Highway 78 on the right, Bobby Boss and the water tower to our back. And then over on the left-hand side, that would be our main walk-in entrance over on the left-hand side. We're sort of standing in the employee parking lot, you know, again, with the water tower behind us and looking at the building as it would look from Bobby Boss. And then this last one is just a view from Highway 78. Highway 78 would be to our rear, and the water tower would be on our left-hand side, just to give you a little orientation. These aren't, you know, final elevations, but these are just renderings from our architect as to what we hope to see and what we would like to do. I know we've spoken to Ms. Long a couple times this week and talked about some specific issues that she has, and I know she wants to address those, but I'd like to save some time for rebuttal if we need it, but I think we've made some progress in terms of use limitations and that kind of thing. I appreciate her being willing to be engaged with us and talk with us. We've proposed to do some extra screening that she's requested with plant material and screening the dumpster and lighting and that sort of thing, and we appreciate her being accommodating and being willing to work with us. We would submit respectfully that this proposed use presents relatively low demands on your infrastructure. We're not going to demand a lot of water, sewer, that kind of thing. It doesn't really have any impact on schools. It's actually beneficial. We'll be paying taxes without creating any hardship for the schools. We think this will help traffic in making fewer trips, shorter trips, hopefully enhancing medical services available in Loganville. Folks can take their children and young people to the orthodontist here as opposed to having to drive other places. So we submit respectfully that weighing all of those benefits and burdens, we hope brings you to the conclusion that this would be a useful thing and a beneficial thing for the city. And with that, we'd respectfully ask for your approval, recommendation of approval to the city council. I would like to reserve any time I have left for rebuttal. And
I was just going to say, if you want to, go ahead and hand out the sheet about the conditions so they understand, just because there's so
Sure.
many with the CH zoning restrictions that are being asked
yeah.
for.
So what we've done for the last couple of days is traded emails with Robbie and Ms. Long and put together this list of proposed conditions that, I've got one more.
You better.
Yes.
I'm important. I'm important.
I thought I had them all, but, yeah, I got plenty.
Give it to Tiffany, she gave me hers.
All right, thank you. So yeah, this condition number one, we want to have a medical office, and that's it. And we understand that CH allows a lot of uses that are more intense and it might not be as desirable, especially for our neighbors. So we've worked with Ms. Long on this list of more intensive uses, and we're agreeable that those would not be allowed. And this condition would say they're not allowed. Second, we've agreed, she asked us to plant a row of evergreen trees along the boundary of our parking lot on her side of the property, and we're agreeable to doing that. She also asked us to plant plants behind our dumpster screening near her property. We agree to that. We've agreed to screen the dumpster with the, enclosed structural enclosure and a gate and all of that. We agree to do that. Third, my understanding is this is really covered by your development regulations, but we're willing to spell it out anyway in terms of making sure the lighting is cut off luminaries that shine into the property, not out somewhere else. We think we're going to contract with Walton EMC. They have a program where they'll actually install the lights to the city's standards, and we just pay them, basically rent in terms of in the fees for the electricity. So 3 just directs the light inward on the property. 4 is the dumpster screening, and 5 is the stream buffer. And I don't want to speak for Ms. Long, she'll speak for herself, but she wants to make sure we don't tear out the stream buffer, and we don't have any intention of doing that. My understanding, the rules allow us in very limited circumstances to go in there, like I said before, for utility connections. We know we're going to have to do that for the sewer, but all that's going to be very limited, and we'll only do what the city regulations permit us to do. So those are our proposed conditions, and again, happy to answer any questions and reserve the rest of my time if I could.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions from the commission on this for the applicant right now?
I have one question.
All right, Tiffany?
Hi, thank you. Will the building be 100% occupied by the orthodontist office?
Yes,
No intention of renting any space?
No, ma'am, no subtenants, all Dr. Koch and his folks.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any others? All right, thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone who would like to speak for the request of rezoning. Don't know if you're for it or against it. All right, come on, Ms. Long.
I'm Melanie Long. I live at 219 Covington Street, and my property directly abuts to this project. I've lived in my home for 3 decades, well, right at 3 decades, 28 years. And in those 28 years, I have come to expect, I've grown to have a certain serenity. And all I'm looking to do is preserve my serenity. That's my home. I plan to live there till the day I die. And in looking at that, there's so many other things that could have gone on this piece of property that would be horrible. So first of all, I do thank Dr. Koch for seeing value in our city and wanting to bring your business here and improving a piece of property and making it pretty for all of us and bringing the service we need. It fits in. We've got 2 drugstores right there. You've got the Gwinnett Clinic across the street. There's offices next to you. So I'm not opposed to your project. I applaud your project. You're not trying to overwhelm us with something that we don't want or we have too many of, so I appreciate that. So I'm not against his project. I am looking for myself and my neighbors. Terry Malcolm's one of my neighbors, and we talk all the time about how, as crazy as it is that we live downtown, it feels like we live in the mountains. It's very serene. I mean, it really is. We sit on his porch, I sit on my deck. You see deer, you see fox, you see all that, and I'm looking to preserve that. There's a spring head in my backyard that actually is the beginning, if I'm not mistaken about the name of the creek. It eventually feeds the Big Haynes Creek. So that creek that runs that whole way, there's wetlands, there's other spring heads on this property. And if you look, I guess in your packet, you also got the layout with the buffer zone. So you'll see that the creek runs this entire length. It actually goes under 78. It goes under 78, it pops back up somewhere out behind Ingalls back there. And so I want to make sure that we preserve that. And that's really what I'm asking for. So there is a 75-foot buffer in here. And we have worked, they've been very nice to work, that I want to preserve that buffer for the wildlife and for the way of life in our community. And so that is why on his conditions of zoning, number 5, and I would like to add, and you said you would be willing to add clarify that it would say the 75-foot stream buffer shall be undisturbed except as permitted by the city's regulations. And so I'm good with that. That should give me plenty of room. I shouldn't see their building, especially with the additional vegetation. I think all that will be very helpful, and they don't have to look at me and all my stuff in my backyard, and then I'm not going to be looking at it and going, golly, there's that dentist office. So I think we're good there. The other one that I want to clarify, where it says the dumpster shall be screened in accordance with city regulations. Robbie, you sent me this afternoon the only regulations we have, and I sent you, I don't know, did I send you back an email? Those are maybe I intended to and I got busy.
I responded back. Those are applicable, that we use those standards in all.
Okay, so even though it
in
said
all
for
cases.
food,
Yeah, that
whatever,
we-
so can we, when we do condition of zoning number 4, can we put that section in here, just list that they'll adhere to that particular
If you want
code?
to. I mean,
I would
it's-
like
you
that.
can just say
You
it's-
okay with that,
it-
sir?
It's just,
Okay.
you can just say city regulations is all you have to do, but you can cite the code if you want to. It's up to
Hey,
you.
being on city council, I want every word. I crossed my Ts and dot my Is. Other than that, everything's fine, and the reason for number 1, if you'll look at that list, should he decide, I mean, we don't know, none of us are guaranteed. We could go out here tomorrow and we all get hit by buses, and his family go, hey, it's zone commercial, we're not gonna build that orthodontic business, let's sell the property. So what I wanted to do, my neighbors wanted to be protected. And so these items here, I think you would look and you would agree that if this was your home, these are items you wouldn't want built in your backyard, and that's all we're asking. We're not trying to tie the man's hands or anything like that. It's just, we are a residential, we're community, my neighbors and I, we all know each other. And these are just things we wouldn't want to see. So I would like to make sure that that goes in the condition. These, I'm fine with all this. And again, I appreciate him seeing the value in our city. And so I'm good. If he's good, I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Come on up to the podium, please. Give us your name and address, please.
I'm Joyce Davis, 4421 Pecan Street. I couldn't hear and understand everything, so there's a couple of things I need to ask to make it clear for me. Now, as she pointed out, it's residential. Even though 78, the Walgreens almost backs into my backyard, but 78 is commercial. Pecan Street is residential. There's no commercial anything going on in any of the houses. They're just, people just living. Already, I'm concerned about the traffic because it's a shortcut off of Main Street onto Pecan, onto Bobby Boss, and onto 78, and the other way around. So I'm concerned about where the entrance to this is going to be, if it's on 78 with a exit on Bobby Boss, or is the entrance and exit on Bobby Boss? And if so, where is it located? Is it located up close to where Walgreens has their little thing that goes off of Bobby Boss? Or is it going to be down around Pecan Street? The reason that I'm concerned about that is that if it's where Pecan Street is, it's going to cause more traffic on Pecan Street going directly across Bobby Boss.
Ms. Long's going to give you a copy of that. The entrance will be off of Bobby Boss, just off of 78, just before you get to Pecan Street.
Is in line with your street. Is
And-
is that correct? That you're aligning your driveway with Pecan Street?
That was a preference of our traffic department, was that to have the driveway lined up with the street that already existed.
And there is another condition that was mentioned in the package where should traffic become a nuisance, then there would install a decel lane coming off of 78 onto the property. So that would alleviate some of the traffic problems that may come up on Bobby Boss. So that's a possibility that could come later if there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, because I know that they are y'all are planning to do those little houses on Pecan Street, across from where the residential houses are. And so, thinking about the infestation of that. And it's true that we have wild animals that need a habitat. They come in my yard, but I have a Jack Russell, and if she's out there, she kills everything that moves. I had a little rabbit. It was about this big. It was still dark. I took her out for her business, and this rabbit was in the front. Well, luckily that morning, I went to the back first, and she followed me around there. Then I walked down my drive to the front, and that little rabbit was so precious, but it won't be long before we don't have nothing.
Do you have any more questions about this?
Yeah, well, the traffic, I wanted to know if the, or whatever, changes or what it is, because I'm not familiar with that. Would they ever be like a service station?
Yeah, that's one of the conditions that Ms. Long put on her list, that would not be an allowed use should it be sold.
It's not going to be a.
Yeah, once the zoning would be approved, if the city council does vote to approve it, these conditions of zoning would be attached to those parcels, and would stay there. Even if they should, for some reason, decide to sell the property at a later date, my understanding of zoning is that this would stay as a condition of zoning on those properties.
I'm not only concerned just because it's a residential, but my house is a Walton County landmark. And we feel like that in protecting that house, and we're fixing it up, and it's going to be a great, beautiful thing for this city. But if we get too crowded invested in there, then it won't be. You know, I want it to go along with our new library and, you know, and everything be good. But the traffic situation is another thing, and I hope we'll get rid of it.
Ma'am, we should also point out, this was already zoned commercial, it's just changing its commercial zoning.
And, I'll show you I'll show you what the business is.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else like to speak? Come on, sir. All right, just give us your name and your address, please.
I'm Terry Malcolm. I live at 4439 Pickon Street. I'm Terry Malcolm. I live at 4439 Pickon Street. My house will be the closest house to the orthodontist. I come tonight just to see why they wanted it rezoned, because it was already zoned to build what he had. Give a little insight. The house I live in is actually the house that the plant manager and the owner that built the plant on the property that he's supposed to build on. So our little street's 4 houses, that's basically the original Loganville. Joyce's house was the original telephone house, and then the 2 other houses are the Rockmores that pretty much run Loganville, and then my house was the plant manager and CEO. Originally, Loganville, we planned it kind of like that part. The reason why Walgreens owns that whole block is because we was going to use that for a buffer to protect our houses. And then the property that Dr. Koch has was going to be an urgent care at one time. So we don't have a problem with an orthodontist or anything like that coming. It puts another buffer for us until they figure out what to do with our 4 houses. The only thing we're worried about is we just don't want businesses that comes going to put unnecessary traffic, because our road, the streets we got, especially the bridge on Bobby Box, will not take traffic. And if you look at it, the little V on the cement pretty much sticks out the road. So when you meet a car on the bridge, you got to stop. If you don't, you're going to have a wreck. And I watch on the front porch, many almost wrecks, especially now since the 18-wheelers use that for a cut-through off Covent Street. When they did the Femming, they rezoned it on the GPS, and they never went back and fixed it. So we get a lot of 18-wheelers and a lot of box trucks and everything that comes up Covent Street up Bobby Boss, and they hit the bridge. And if you look, it gets a little bit more crack in the road, the cement. So it won't take any kind of business. It's going to bring a lot of traffic. But we don't have anything about an orthodontist coming. We're for that because it goes with the Walgreens behind us, and also goes with the dentist office we got on the end of our street. We just don't want businesses to come that's going to cause crime. Like we did it at one time, have businesses across the street on 78, which we had armed robberies, and a house across the road right on Covent Street, a lady got murdered, all because of certain businesses that was right there on 78. I worked 30 years here at Loganville as a police officer, so a lot of stuff I know that we dealt with that, you know, at the time just never was let out. But certain businesses will bring crime. But what he's wanting to do, if that's all he wants to do, we're for that.
Thank you. Yeah, and looking at his plans here, seeing this is only going to be a 1-story building, there won't be that much traffic added into the area on a daily basis. So it's not going to be like it's going to be a Walgreens or a Publix or a Walmart. So that's going to be one good thing there. It won't add that much more traffic. All right. Anything in rebuttal or? All right. Any other questions from the commission? All right. All right. At this time, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. Hold on. All right, we gotta do them one at, hold on, gotta do them one at a time. Gotta do it one at a time, thanks. You want to drive in the rain? It's coming down. All right, case number A, R24-001 for Coco Orthodontics. The request rezoning of 8.54 plus or minus acres located at 123 Bobby Boss Road, Loganville 30052, map and parcel LG 060141, Walton County. The property owner, Strive Real Estate Loganville LLC, currently has a CBD zoning and requested the zoning of CH for the Office of Orthodontic Practice. Do we have a motion for approval or denial?
Make a motion, we approve with the applied conditions.
Okay, got a motion?
Second it.
Got a second? Everybody else in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nobody against? All right, that case R24001 will be sent over to City Council for, with our request or suggestion for approval. Case B, R24002, Coco Orthodontics filing an application for a rezone of approximately 2.68 acres located at 115 Bobby Boss Road, Loganville 30052. This map and parcel is LG 050036, Walton County. Strive Real Estate Loganville LLC has the property at CBD and requesting a zoning to CH. Do we have a motion to approve or deny this one?
I make a motion, we approve with the applied conditions.
All right, motion to approve.
Second it.
Got a second again? Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Likewise? No. All right, those two pass. We will send that on to City Council for recommendation of approval. Go ahead.
So in your packet, we'll bring up item D. Item C you don't need to vote on, but item D, in your packet, you have the City of Loganville official zoning map update. This was last done 2 years ago. Typically what we do is when a certain amount of properties are annexed in or their zoning is changed, we do try to update this map periodically. So in your packet there is just the updated map.
Okay. All right, so no need to vote on
No,
it?
you will have to vote on this
Okay.
one, yeah.
All right. Has everybody had a chance to look at the zoning map and the updates for the annexations and the rezonings? I know it's kind of small. Any questions or comments? All right.
Make a motion to approve the new zoning map dated February 8th, 2024.
All right. Got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. We got 2 seconds. Everybody else in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Doesn't seem to be. And we will adopt this into the city minutes. All right. With that being done, we are finished here with our business meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
And we got a motion and a second, and we will see you guys next month. Thank you so much for your time.